Some questions on the reading section of the ACT are universal. And by that, they're about the overall content of the selection, not just a particular word, sentence, or paragraph. These questions ask about main ideas, overall conflicts, and purpose. They can also concentrate on general relationships illustrated in the selection, including comparisons. In the classroom, we'll explore this type of question more thoroughly. Okay, one type of universal question is a main idea question. So by universal, I mean questions that are about the whole in the selection, not just one real small little bit. So when asked a main idea question, it may be best to start with what will not be in the answer, particular data. The data is used to support the overall main ideas. So look at the answers right away. And you should know off the bat, after having skimmed through quickly and read the selection, what makes no sense at all. Get rid of that right away so that you can limit your choices and then use the process of elimination on the best. For main idea questions, individual paragraphs will contain a main idea in themselves. But keep in mind, they're all related to a more general topic. Read the question carefully, as they may ask about the main idea of a particular paragraph over the selection itself. Just like when you're building an essay, you have a thesis, general overall idea, and then separate paragraphs that prove it. Within those separate paragraphs, they have their own topic sentences. Read the question carefully. Know if they're asking for something within a topic sentence, or are they talking about the essay in general, or maybe a point of view of one part of the essay. So it all goes back to being careful on reading the questions. You don't want to read the essay for every little detail, but you do want to read the questions that way. Keep note of what points paragraphs are supporting and the data they use as evidence. It's possible a paragraph is written to illustrate a point of view counter to the overall main idea, and you'll need to recognize that. Main idea questions are often stated as purpose questions. What is the overall purpose of the selection? Another type of question that's considered a universal type of question is a main conflict question. You've been identifying conflicts in reading since early in your education. For the prose fiction selection, you'll look for plot points, the rising action, what set events into motion, the climax, and where the protagonist and antagonist collide, and then the resolution, or how things changed and finished after the climax. So that's how you would want to go ahead and look at main conflict questions for prose fiction. But for reading the other selections, you should be on the lookout for conflicts still. What led to the research presented in a selection, for example? Was there a conflict? Was there a problem that needed to be solved? Why is it presented? What is it trying to prove? Having these questions in mind before reading the selection and recognizing the answers while skimming is going to make the questions easier to answer and much quicker. Relationship questions. These questions are about relationships, and they may range from character relationships in prose fiction to cause and effect relationships in the natural science selection. Know ahead of time. They're going to ask you questions that have to do with relationships. If it is prose fiction, notice how characters interact as you're skimming through it. If it has anything scientific, look for cause and effect relationships. Always be on the lookout for key words in a selection that give relationship clues, such as because, as a result of, when, due to, on account of, give rise to. When you see them, mark them in the selection for easy reference. All right? Whether you're going to circle them or star them, you need to be able to go back to them quickly, that this is a spot in the essay where they are talking about relationships. Don't necessarily have to internalize everything that's going on there. You probably don't have time to read that way. But if you mark where they are because you find these key words, oh, it says as a result of, and then you have a question that deals with the general idea that was early in the essay, you find that circled part early in the essay, you know right where to go to find the best answer. Reading with a purpose and making note of main ideas, conflicts, and relationships while reading will give you an opportunity to quickly answer these types of questions without having to reread. This will save you valuable time that you can use on more detail-oriented questions.